Greetings humans, Spinning Mantis here, and I thought I'd do something a little bit fun. This is going to be a tier list for September 2016 for Overwatch. Now this is primarily going to be about Xbox One play, but it probably is also applicable to PC play. This is based on my personal experiences, looking at other tier lists, looking at play rates, but this is not going to be a pure play rate list. So there's only 2 god level characters, 2 S tier characters, which are pretty much must pick. That is Lucio. Even though he's pretty much a must pick, I don't think he needs to be nerfed. I don't think he needs to be changed at all. Recently he had his speed boost reduced, and I think that's fine. That was a good balance for him. I don't think he needs to be changed again. The second god tier or S tier character is Zenyatta, especially with Lucio. Zenyatta and Lucio together pretty much rule the meta at all levels of the game for competitive and professional. He is really good. Why they're great is because they both can heal, they both can buff. Zenyatta can debuff, and they both can deal damage while healing. Very, 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 very powerful characters, Zenyatta and Lucio, especially when brought together. I don't think Zenyatta is too powerful. I don't think he needs to be nerfed. He was buffed and then nerfed already. So they buffed his HP and they buffed his ulti, and then they nerfed, which I think is a good idea, his Orb of Discord from 50% damage increase down to 30%. I think that was good tuning. I think Zenyatta is in a great spot. I don't think Lucio or Zenyatta need to come down or get nerfed. I think the other healers need to get boosted. So we'll just go by class. Next is Mercy. I would say Mercy is a B tier, not an A tier, but a B tier. She recently got a buff to her healing stream, which was a good change. Her ulti is amazing, but when you've got your Zenyatas and your Lucios, she's just not that popular of a pick right now. What I think needs to be done with her is, since it is so hard for her to switch between offense and healing, I think her alt stream, her damage boost stream, needs to be boosted. I think it's like 10% now. It needs to be brought up to be 30%, where Zenyatta's is. And I think that will make her more competitive and a better pick. So if she's got a better damage boost, she's already got the best heal, direct heal in the game, and then add her ulti to that, she will be a strong pick again. But right now she is B tier. And then Onna, I don't know what to say about Onna. She's not a great healer. She's not a great damage dealer. But again, unlike Mercy, she can simultaneously do damage and heal. I don't think she's in a bad spot. And what really saves her, in my opinion, is her ulti. Her ulti is amazing. Put it on the right person at the right time, and it is completely game-changing. So I'm also going to put Onna in the B tier with Mercy. And then finally, we've got the redheaded stepchild of the supports, Symetra. Not really a support, should probably be classified as a defensive character. She needs help. So a while back they nerfed both Symetra and Torbjorn simultaneously, nerfing their turrets and sentries by 50%. That was way, way, way too much. People laugh at Torbjorn turrets now. People laugh at Symetra's sentries now. They really don't do enough. So I think she needs a buff. I think her sentry damage needs to go up by another 10%. So the original nerf was 50%. They need to scale that back to 30 or 20% instead of the 50% nerf. Right now, she is one of my few C list champions. There's really not a lot of reasons to pick her. Her ulti is great. The teleporter, it can really help on some maps and some matches, but that is it really. She can't do a lot more than that right now, which is too bad. So I think her sentries need to be boosted up again to get her out of that C tier. And I don't have anybody in D or below. C is the lowest right now. So we're going to take a look at our tanks. We will start with Reinhardt. I think Reinhardt is in a great position. He is not a must pick, but always useful. The only thing I would change on him is I think his projectile attack needs to recharge faster. I don't think it needs to be stronger, but I think he should have the option to use that a lot more often. I think it should be up every 2 to 3 seconds or something. He should not be able to spam it, but he should be able to use it as a consistent long-range weapon if the opportunity arises. He shouldn't just have his shield up all the time. He should be able to mix it up at a variety of distances. So I put him in the A tier. He is very good. He's not godlike, but he's very good. Always a great pick for your team. I would just like to see them tweak it so that his projectile attack comes up much sooner so you can use it more often. Also in a good spot, I think, is Diva. She's sneaky good. She got buffed this season. She's got tons of armor. Really good against teams that have a lot of light hitters, you know, like tracers and other people whose hits don't do a ton of damage. Her Diva's armor will really eat that up, and with a healer who's giving her some focus, she can really stay up for a long time. I do like Diva. She's one of my favorite characters, and I do think she's strong. Now, if you go by play rates, you know, she's definitely in the bottom half. There's only like 8 to 10 champions being picked regularly in competitive that are winning. But I still think she's strong, a good addition as a secondary tank to a team. If you see a Reinhardt on a team and you've got a healer, Diva is a great way to sort of slip in and be a good all-around tank. I also put Diva in the A tier. The only change I would make to her is I don't think her shield, her defense matrix, should be able to eat Zarya's ultimate. That's it. It can, I think that's more of a change for Zarya, that it shouldn't be a projectile. But I don't think it's fair that Zarya's ult can get eaten by her little shield. So the next tank we've got on the list is Zarya, who I also think is in a great spot. I'm going to put Zarya in the A tier also. A good all-around pick, real high skill champion. You really have to be good at Zarya to get the most out of her. You've got to be putting your shields on the right people, putting your shield on yourself at the right time, mixing up your 2 different attacks. But I do think she is a strong A tier champion right now. Also a secondary tank, definitely not a primary tank. She should not be taking all the damage. She should be mixing it up when her shield is ready and then ducking out and then coming back. But I do put her in the A tier. The only thing I would change about Zarya is I think her ult should not be a projectile. I think her ult should not be able to be deflected by Genji or eaten by Diva's shield. Just change that to not be a projectile. But Zarya is in the A tier. Now, even though he is not in a bad place, I'm going to put Winston in a B tier because he is a good counter to Lucio and especially Zenyatta. He is a big pick right now, but other than against, the back line, he is not super strong. He's more of a disruptor than a guy who's going to get a ton of kills. I do think he needs something more in his kit. I'm putting Winston in the B tier, although he is very, very, useful as a counter to Zenyatta. What I think he needs is an alt fire. I don't think it's fair that all he has is the Tesla gun. I think he should be able to alt fire, like maybe in the way that Symetra alt fires. Maybe it's a long range ball of lightning, or maybe his lightning should jump from one person to another. I think he needs a little bit more offensive oomph to get him up there. And our last tank is Roadhog. Really not a very popular pick anywhere. I'm going to put Roadhog in the C tier just because I mean, he's an easy target. His hooks are kind of hard to hit. He's just really not a good primary tank. He's not an amazing damage dealing tank. He does not have great range. He's mostly useful for hooking healers and squishies. Being like a flanker or a disruptor. And for a tank, I'd rather have a better tank than Roadhog, or I'd rather have a better flanker, someone like Tracer or a Reaper or something. So there's really not a lot of reasons to pick the Roadhog right now. What to do to Roadhog? I don't know, maybe give him a little bit more range on his guns so he's a little bit better at mid-range. Maybe take that knockback off his ultimate. His ultimate is really annoying to use because it doesn't let you just slay people. It knocks them away from you sometimes, and it's has a lot of kick to it. It's hard to handle. So Roadhog is another one of the characters I think needs a little bit of help. And I put in the C tier with Symetra. So after that, we're going to go take a look at our offense heroes. Now, if it's by pick rate and stuff like that, in like pro gaming, there's really not a whole lot of people here that get picked. But ones that are strong are Genji. Genji is amazing. He is borderline overpowered because of that deflect. He's got a crazy varied kit. He's a high skill champion. You can't just start playing Genji and be awesome at him. You really have a lot to manage when you're playing Genji. I'm not going to put him in an S tier, God tier. I'm going to put him strongly in the A tier as a great offense champion. The only thing I would change on Genji, even though he is really powerful, I wouldn't nerf him. As I said before, I would make it so he can't reflect Zarya's ultimate. That's it, really. So, also in the A tier for offense is good old Reaper. He's got great survivability. He's really only effective close up. He's kind of okay at mid-range. You can finish people off at mid-range. Really good close up. He can go invulnerable, which is amazing. On kills, he's got those orbs. He can get his health back. He's not a fast champion, but when he is in his spirit form and he can't be hit, you can really duck out and get to a health pack and heal up. He is a good, solid damage dealing champ, and he's got that extra bit with his ultimate can be devastating if you get behind a team. You can do a team kill with it. You can move while you're doing it, which some people really don't take advantage of, which is good because you don't want to get killed while you're in it. But he is a solid pick. Really doesn't have range, but he can get sneaky, teleport behind, take out healers. He's a great flanker and a great damage dealer. Reaper is a strong pick, and I'm going to put him in the A tier. After Reaper, we're going to get into the B tier. I think Farah is another sort of solid all-around pick. You know, she lacks healing, she lacks defense, her ult can be a bit finicky. The ult, really, you have to paint people pretty good with it for like a big cloud of missiles. It really doesn't have a huge reticle. It's really best for finishing people off. It is not going to, like, if you put it all on one tank, like, you know, you might not even take the tank out. So it's not a great ult. It freezes you up there in the air usually. It makes you a sitting duck. That's why she's sort of in the B tier. But she's always useful. She really is. A lot of people don't even shoot at the sky, especially specifically on Xbox One. You know, people are very ground oriented and they don't move their look as vertically as you would on a PC, but she is still solid. I don't know if I would change anything about her. Maybe her ultimate, she gets protected somehow. You know, she has a bit of a shield when she's in her ult, so she's not as vulnerable. I think that would be fair, a little boost to Farah. Well, after our friend Farah, we've got Soldier 76 in the B tier. He is just solid all around. He's never going to be the best at anything. But here's his secret. He can actually heal. Really good on payload and stuff, and maybe even on defense. You've got people clustered together. You can drop down that heal and really do a heck of a lot of healing with Soldier 76. His ult's easy to use, it's not the most devastating, but he can just keep doing solid damage. Be very mobile with him. You can use him to flank. If you've got a Reinhardt, he can do a lot of damage behind a Reinhardt. He's a solid B tier champion. Would I change anything about him? I actually don't think so. I think he is where he should be. After Soldier, also in the B tier, is McCree. And on PC, McCree, I think, is definitely probably an A tier or even a God tier character. On Xbox One, not as much. I mean, he is good as a flanker. He's good specifically versus squishies and healers and stuff like that. If you're good at McCree, you can be devastating. If you're not good with McCree, you're essentially worthless. So I think his ult is cheap as heck. Like one of my least favorite things in the game. I do think McCree's ult needs a nerf. I don't think it should be able to, you know, basically team kill a spread out team, or, you know, it is just kind of lame. Really get frustrated with that. I think his stun is fine. It's really one of the few stuns in the game that can be devastating. I don't think his main kit needs to be tweaked, but I think his ultimate needs to be toned down, even though I'm putting him in, well, you know what, I'll put him in A tier. Even though you have to be good at him, I will put him in A tier because that ult right now is just silly, and it needs to be nerfed a little bit. I'm sorry, I just think that McCree ult is some garbage. And then also in the B tier is Tracer, who apparently gets picked a lot in Pro. So maybe on PC she is an A tier. She's fun. I think she's great, like a Reaper can be, great at messing with points. She can sprint across points and contest them. She can basically harass a team like no other, but you got to be real good at Tracer. That's the thing. If you're not good at Tracer, you're going to be horrible. You're going to be worthless to your team. If you're good at Tracer, you can be amazing. So I'm going to put her in B tier for now. On PC, I think she would definitely be A tier. She is a useful character. Would I change anything about Tracer? I would. I would actually give her a little boost to get her up to that A tier. I think she needs an alt fire. I don't think it's fair that she's only got that main fire. I think if she had an alt fire sort of like Lucio's, where it is some sort of a knockback or something, I think that would be great to add to Tracer's kit and get her up to where I think she should be. And lastly, we are going to briefly look at the defense characters. I think the most powerful is Junkrat. This is my least favorite character to face in the game. I think he is so cheap. I think he's cheaper than Bastion. Bastion at least has to aim. Junkrat just has to spam into a certain area, and you get all these cheap kills. You don't have to be good to play Junkrat. You just have to hold the trigger down and aim at the sky. You know, if you are real good at Junkrat, you can really dominate with the rest of your kit. I'm going to put him in the A tier because of what he can do. Now, I think maybe on PC he is lower. He might be B tier on PC, because his spam tactics don't work as well. But on Xbox, so cheap. Like, he gets so many kills even against good players. So Junkrat is in the A tier. Would I change him? I don't know if he needs to be changed. I would say either make it so that his clip is smaller and he has to reload more often, so he can't put down as much spam, or do a small decrease, you know, a 5 or 10 point of damage decrease on his projectiles. I think in that way he's overpowered, but his kit is so varied, I think he can take that hit to his standard damage and still be better balanced. So next in defense, the only other one who's going to be an A, I would say, is Mei. Another character that you really have to be good at. Yeah, she's valuable in a lot of ways. She just got buffed. Her ulti just got a much bigger radius. She is an amazing counter to melee people. She can really mess with tanks. I am putting her in the A tier as the only other A tier defense character right now. But I do think her ranged is a bit too powerful. I think that Ice Shard, it can like headshot you like a Hanzo. There's no reason, like with the rest of her kit, that she should be able to headshot you at any distance like a Hanzo. So I think that needs to come down. Her Ice Shard, her alt fire, I do think needs to be nerfed a bit because that feels cheap. The rest of her kit is super frustrating, but I think you can play around it, and it's interesting to have to play against something like that. So right now I'm going to put her in the A tier. There's no reason ever to like definitely pick her, and she can backfire, but I think her kit is really strong and has good synergy, really helps out the team, helps the rest of your team get kills. Next is going to be our B tier, and in that we have Hanzo. I think he's useful. I do. I wouldn't even tweak him. I'd leave him just the way he is. I'm going to call him B tier because he basically needs to just be headshotting people all the time, and that's kind of tough with how fast it moves. Yeah, but if you're good at Hanzo, you can be very useful to the team. I love that. the sort of sonic arrow that can be a huge asset to your team. His ult can completely fail or be completely devastating. It's sort of hit or miss, and I think that's why he's in B tier for me, is the fact that he's hit or miss. I guess if you're a real good tight-knit team and who takes advantage of team play, and you had someone like a Zarya and her ult, he could be a good team together in very specific situations. But I am going to have him in the B tier right now because there's no definite reason to have him all the time. And we're getting to the end of our list here. So this is going to be our bottom 3 champs. Dun dun dun. Who will our bottom 3 champs be? These are all champs who I think need work, need some help. So in our C tier, we've got Bastion. The thing about Bastion is half of his kit's overpowered, half of his kit's underpowered. He's got great character. He looks great. He's got a great backstory, but he's really not that fun to play. I think he's in the C tier right now. I think he needs a bit of a rework. I think what he needs is maybe when he's doing his heal, he gets a shield around him. That would be good, in my opinion. I think his regular machine gun, his recon mode when he's running around, I think that needs to be boosted up. I think he needs to do a bit more damage in that mode. And then in his deployed artillery mode with his chain gun, I think that needs to be nerfed a bit. I don't know if it's just damage down or a decrease in range, but I think he needs to be balanced out so that it's not just about finding a spot and camping. It is about most of the time moving around and being that Soldier 76 type of guy who's putting down consistent damage as the team is moving around and then just setting up in certain situations. So I'm putting him in the C tier. I think he needs changes. Also in defense in the C tier, I am sad to say I love Torbjorn. I just can't play him anymore. There's like no use for him. His turrets like die immediately. They don't do anything. They just tickle people. I used to be afraid of turrets, and now like I will stand with a squishy character and trade with a turret. It is bad. They nerfed it way too hard. They nerfed his turret down 50%. I think he needs to be tweaked again, just like Symetra. I think both of their turrets / sentries need to be returned. If the original nerf was 50%, change it to where it would have been nerfed to 30%, or 25%. They just took it down way too low. There's no reason to play him anymore. I think he's fun to play. Positioning, knowing the maps, being able to be in 2 places at once is really fun. I liked playing Engineer a lot in TF2, but they basically nerfed Torbjorn out of existence by nerfing his turrets. It just doesn't work anymore. So they need to unnerf his turrets a bit. He is in the C tier. And finally, sadly, Widowmaker, the sexy French sniper, is also in the C tier. I think it's widely recognized across the board, probably across all platforms, that for Overwatch, she just really does not work that well. It is not a game for snipers. It moves very fast. There's verticality. Hey, I've seen Widowmakers who were good, who completely destroyed, and this is on Xbox One, which is much harder to I think, do headshots than on PC because of mouse and latency and refresh rate and all that stuff. I've seen amazing Widowmakers in Overwatch here and there on Xbox One, but nobody plays her. There's no reason to. And one of the main reasons is her ult is horrible. How can someone's ult be the same as Hanzo's, normal ability he can use every couple seconds? That's crazy. So she needs a rework too. I think for her, you need to increase the damage on her assault rifle when she's not in sniper mode. So make it so she's a more viable run and gunner, and then redo her ult. I don't know. Either scrap it or keep it as it is and add to it something like any enemy, sort of like a McCree's High Noon or something. She tags any enemy in her field of sight, and she puts like a damage bonus on them, so they take 30% more damage. So basically her ult is everyone she sees, she puts a Orb of Discord on, and your team can take advantage of that. So I think, she needs a impactful ultimate to be relevant at all in the game. Well, I think that is just about everybody. I hope you enjoyed this list. I don't know how long it'll be relevant for. This is after Summer Games 2016, before Season 2 of Competitive, so hopefully this is relevant for a while before the game gets balanced and patched again. I hope everybody enjoys Season 2 of Competitive and playing on the new Eigenwald map and Sombra when she eventually comes out. Please stay tuned to the channel for more Overwatch content, and if you do want to see more, it makes me super happy when you like and subscribe. That's going to be all for now. Spinningmantis out. Namaste.